So wait, $700,000 in debt to support a family of five and working 60 hours a week and living paycheck to paycheck? This video hit me really hard, and you're about to see why. Let's see if we can help them out.
Let's take a look and see how much I worked last pay period just to live paycheck to paycheck. For some background, I am the sole income earner for a family of five, and I'm about $700,000 in debt. Most of that is my home, but still, it's a lot. I know there's a lot of other people out there that are in the same situation as me, and I think we need to start talking about it more. This week I had 3 night shifts followed by 1 day off where I had 2 meetings followed by 3 day shifts totaling 75 hours. Next week I worked 2 day shifts followed by 1 day off, and then I worked 3 night shifts with 1 random Friday off, and that totaled 62 hours.
Now, that is just wow. That's an extreme amount of hours that you're working just to live paycheck to paycheck. The hustle and the grind and just trying to survive with looming $700,000 worth of debt, that feels like it's damn near impossible to survive. Now, check this out. I don't know how much money she's making, but let's say, for example, pulling in overtime, she's making like $100 to $120,000 a year. This is just, I'm just guessing because she didn't say in the video where she lives. But let's say you're pulling in $100,000 a year with taxes, insurance for health insurance, all of that being taken away and paying now your bills and trying to just survive off that. They're not surviving. All right, let's be very honest. They're not surviving. They are just getting by, and eventually things are just not going to go well. Because if you're working 60 hours, you're going to burn yourself out. There's obviously a serious issue here going on where you are not either, you're not making enough, or this debt you have, it just has to go. It just certainly has to go because physically, just continually going into work and working 60 hours and pulling in all this overtime is not sustainable. Now, I understand there's a few factors here, right? She mentioned the mortgage, so we could say is if I don't want to blame her. All right, I don't want to blame the victim, but there is some responsibility that she needs to take, which is if you have that much debt, right, and then some of it comes from a house, as she stated, then it's good time to probably think about downsizing, right? And if she has student loans and she has credit cards, you got to find a way to consolidate this to bring down your interest rates on these cards because there's going to be no way out of this situation. There had to be certain mistakes that she made along the way to put her in that situation. Now, it's a family of five. I don't know if she has a spouse and she has 3 kids or she's just supporting 5 kids on her own. But just the mindset of raising kids, I mean, some people right now are just trying to just raise themselves and having $100 to $150,000. Some people are just like struggling right now, even with that amount of money to just survive because right now the system's broken, right? There's a lot of things in the system right now that's going against you, that's making it hard for the average person to get ahead. It doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means that the old way, right? The old financial advice that people are telling you, which is to live less than what you make, that stands a time and testament. That works. But now there needs to be even a bigger gap. The amount of money you need to have now to compare to your expenses has to be a wider gap. It's not just living below your means. You gotta live like you're damn near poor right now during these times just to get ahead, right? It's temporary, but just to get ahead. And in her case, she's working all these hours to just maintain, right? And I'm just feel bad because the emotional stress that comes from this is just a lot. You're not spending time with your family. You're not having good time to just have a mental day to clear your head. Emotionally, that has to be draining. To know you're doing this all for your family, which I commend. Anyone who's out there grinding and hustling to support their family, I commend them tremendously. That's an awesome thing to do. I'm the same way. I do everything I can for my family. But I do that to get above and beyond, to give them a better future, not to just maintain the level of the lifestyle you have now, right? That home, she just has to downsize that home. Simple as that. And that's the problem that what so many people do is they get so excited, right, when they get a family. That's why I don't want to blame her because this is like the typical thing people do is once they have a family and kids, you do a whole bunch of things like buy a house and a car you can afford because You're saying to yourself, okay, I'm doing this now for my family, but later on things will get better, right? It will fix itself with the raises I get and me working. I will fix it. I'll be able to pay off the credit cards. I'll be able to pay off the car. It will get there eventually. But here comes, 2022, 2023. Bam, how everything right now just turned upside down. Now you got inflation. Now you have the high cost of everything, groceries. Everything is just extremely expensive, and that's the problem. You don't plan for that, right? That's why, in her situation, it was the best thing to do is you got to live on what you have today, not on what you have in the future. And this just shows you as well how these mortgage companies will give anyone a mortgage. Like she has to work all these hours just to survive. The mortgage company doesn't care that you need to live off peanut butter and jelly. They don't care about that. As long as they know you could pay your mortgage, that's it. They don't care about your lifestyle. Like a mortgage doesn't look at your lifestyle and determine how much money you get pre-approved, how much money you can get based upon your lifestyle. They don't care about that. Look at your credit, and that's about it. And man, just working 60 to 70 hours a week, that's not sustainable, right? And that's something you do where you do that to pay off debt, which is what I was thinking this video was going, right? She had $700,000 worth of debt, which just hearing that is like, oh man, $700,000 of debt. It's a lot of debt. But I'm pretty sure she could pay it off, right? Eventually she could pay it off. If she works this much hours, she could. But I would love to see the fact of all the overtime she's pulling in to go towards the debt. You see, some people think it's just strictly just like an income issue. That the problem is you're not making enough. But there's a way as well to have a better lifestyle and to get rid of all those expenses. It's just slowly chipping away from expenses, cutting all this unnecessary stuff that you just do not need. That creates a bigger gap where you could save more, right? You could pay off more debt. And that could become only temporary. Because once your debts are paid off, you're free. Can you imagine if all she had was just a mortgage? That's it. That's all she had was a mortgage because she said some of it was her mortgage. So the $700,000, some of it was a mortgage. So obviously she has other debts that she most likely could chip away, right? She's a nurse, so I'm thinking probably some student loans are in there. Something is in there. That just all that money she's making, all that overtime she's making, she could keep for herself, right? Or she could choose to say, you know what, I don't want to work these many hours. I want to spend time with my family. She could spend time with her family. But this is just not going to get better because, hello, guys, $700,000 worth of debt, that is also with interest on top of that. So that balance is changing daily. Daily, that balance is changing, especially with some people now with student loans, they're deferring it. It's only going to just keep on adding and adding and adding. So at this point, she's not really working all these hours to just support her family of five. She's working all these hours to support all these companies that all these lenders that are giving her the money. Right? She's supporting Capital One. She's supporting Bank of America. She's supporting all these credit card companies because what she's working for now is just to pay the interest and to try to keep her credit prestige. I don't know, guys. What do you think? I feel like, you know, $7,000 worth of debt, you just gotta make some drastic changes in your life. And physically going out and working that much to just stay afloat, that's not gonna cut it. There's other things that need to be done in your circle in your life in order for things to get better. But if you think it's going to get better by just staying afloat, that is not going to work. That is, I mean, she's just one like sickness from like just going homeless, right? She gets sick and she can't work, she's screwed. I would just love to know who that other if there's another adult in the house, like she's married with another spouse, why he's not working. She didn't explain all that, but we need to just take care of the situation. And I'm really hoping and rooting for her that she gets that resolved because that is by far a very, very, very scary situation. Now, some people are saying like I read a comment somewhere where someone said, I'm here struggling with $600 of debt. And I'm thinking, man, $600 of debt. I'm going crazy. $700,000, man. That's a lot of debt. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Drop a comment down below and let me know what you think about this whole crisis we have going on with people just walking around with massive amount of debt. Companies aren't paying as much as they can. And who's responsible for this? Really, I would love to hear it. Catch you guys in my next video. Peace.